Hey guys, hey, thanks for joining. Hey, today I kind of wanted to do something a little more in depth. Today I would like to discuss the psychology and mentality behind a very common epidemic that I think us women face, which is why men become players. So it's gonna be interesting. So we're gonna start off today. The first reason men become players for numerous reasons. Okay, the main first reason that scientifically I can come up with is the need to feel wanted. Having several women, fawning over them and falling over them, it makes them feel attractive. It makes them feel, it boosts their self-esteem, and it validates their physical appearance mentality. It validates their self-worth. It's, you know, sort of like the idea the more the merrier. And that usually stems from childhood issues. And that kind of childhood, issue, trauma, etc., it usually constitutes with the constant need for validation to someone, for someone to say, okay, yes, you're worthy of this, you're put in your place, you're worthwhile, you're worth something. And this usually stems generally on the maternal side. So there was probably issues with his mother, his or her, their mother. It's sort of in the sense that it could be neglectful or absent parenting, that sort of thing. It's very, very common. And, these childhood issues and things like that, a lot of them turn subconscious. So these men that have become players over the years are really just battling, an inner demon. They have yet to address the root problem. So subconscious, that's a very big thing. Some are aware, some are not. In my opinion, yes, most are. Just, that's me. So the next issue here, the point is, in the past, for these men, there has been trouble maintaining interpersonal relationships. And, that could be a bunch of different things. An intimacy factor, maybe they don't understand their emotions. They don't know how to process emotion. They don't know how to feel genuine, sincere, correct emotions. So what they do is they kind of play around a little bit, just to kind of pin and prod and poke and kind of see what goes where. And generally, this stems also from childhood, like I said, something with an absent parent. But it's also in the sense that it's a cycle. A lot of parents or, step parents, things like that, they who are emotionally inept tend to put up a wall. So when the child goes to seek emotion or, affection, fulfillment, for that type of void, they are pushed away, they are shunned, they are ostracized because there's this wall that's been set up. So inadvertently, these men for the rest of their lives continue to think that, having a wall up is okay. And it's not, but that's the only way that they know how to be with some. Okay. Also this could be, the fact that, that certain guys are shy or, socially awkward. That tends to happen a lot. By the age of 5 or 6, a child's essential building blocks for the way that they are going to be the rest of their lives, their subconscious, their consciousness, the ability to understand right from wrong, their internal character, who they are as a person, is built by the age of 5 or 6. So this is not a certain type of behavior that can just be changed, overnight. This is something that has been ongoing, years and years and years. Therefore, because of this, they become emotionally and socially inept. And so they are taught to override emotion with thought, with intellect, instead of feeling. So we're going to push the emotion out, which is that wall, put that wall up, and we're only going to do it with thought. And this generally comes, from child abuse, child neglect, early childhood traumas. It's in a sense it's a need to fill an emotional void. And sadly, 99.99% of these men will never have that void filled. And, it's just, it is very sad. But, on to the next. This is one I enjoy, the nature versus nurture. Nature versus nurture. It's been long discussed that nature is how we are. We are born a certain way. We are born with blonde hair, blue eyes. We are born, Caucasian, Asian, whatever. That's how you're born. Okay, well, nurture is more or less your environment, how you grew up. So the big issue here, the psychology here, can actually cut both ways a little bit, as far as why men become players. Are they born that way or are they created? Is it something that they have learned? Is it something they grew up with? And maybe that's perhaps all they knew. Like, let's say hypothetically, a gentleman, his father was a player. That's all he had. Women, 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 lies, lies, lies. Well, as a child, you're subjected to that. That's your parent. That's how you grew up. You don't know any better. Okay, so, we can kind of see how that cuts both ways. Another issue is the fact, an environmental factor. When kids are growing up, they soak up every single thing that they see. So if this is something that's been ongoing, from birth on, and they've been subjected to this in their mind, in these gentlemen's minds, this is the right way to be. Okay. But that brings us to nature. Are they born this way? Could they have been born with a possible, mental illness? Could they have had too high of dopamine levels in the brain, which causes schizophrenia, of course? Could they have, too high serotonin? And different things like that, an enlarged pituitary gland, and that also causes gigantism, but it's besides the point. But things like that, it affects the way the brain operates and the way that the brain is growing, in our thinking. So, is it nature, is it nurture? There's so many different things. To me, I think it's both. I'm not for certain, though. It's just my idea. All right. The next one, we're going to talk about the reason why men become players. I really like this one. This, to me, I'm going to say is heartbreak. Okay. Basically, in their minds, in the player's mind, from growing up till now, some female, some maternal female somewhere has done them wrong. Whether or not that be, their mother, an ex-girlfriend, someone they highly trusted, that sort of thing. And subconsciously in their mind, it's kind of drilled, because now that they have that wall up, that, okay, because this was done to me, I'm going to get these women back. So I'm going to have a bunch of them. I'm going to have as many as I want. Why not? And that's a subconscious issue right there. And I think a lot of it, too, is to hinder the fact that these men don't want to experience that pain again. They don't want to hurt. They don't, want to go through something that they've already been through like that. And so that is painful, and it's just, it's very, very sad that, unfortunately for a lot of the good girls that do try to break through, we can't. So, but really it's just an emotional loss, like your mind and your heart. It's so much to deal with for these men that, it does take an emotional, toll on them. So the mentality, the idea behind this is, okay, we're going to treat, because we're players, we're going to treat women as petty, as dispensable. We're going to strip these women of their worth, of their value. We are going to strip them of anything worthwhile. Their feelings have zero value to me. Nobody cared about my feelings. Why should I care about these women's feelings? That's the mentality of a player, and that's very, very sad. Which also kind of ties into my next point, low self-esteem, low worth. This can actually go a couple different ways. With gentlemen, like I was saying, socially awkward. Sort of like a physical aspect, if they, feel as though they're ugly. A lot of this has to do with ugly duckling syndrome, let's say kind of like shallow Hal, a little bit, but a man. Maybe that they felt they were really just kind of, not handsome or anything like that growing up. And then one day, we start getting a little female attention, so now we're happy. Okay, and that sort of thing. Basically, it's their time to shine. That's the key phrase I love here. It's my time to shine. And so what this does is this validates the player's role and value in life. Okay. Uh, the way this appears is the more women that they have fawning over